Hello, my love. I am Colette with Rich Girls Inc., making your life richer in health, wealth, relationships, and happiness through inspiration, enlightenment, and love. So in this video, I just want to talk a little bit about relationships and about my experience and what happened to me and just how women will settle, how they'll throw themselves into relationships that aren't serving them, that aren't fulfilling them, and they'll try and they'll try and they'll try to make it work, and all they're left with is emptiness and misery. So, my mom was married 4 times, and so I told myself I was never getting married, or I wasn't going to get married until after 30, and when I do date, that I would only date men that are really, really good to me. And for the most part, that's what's happened. I've been pretty fortunate. I dated a few guys in high school that were really nice guys, and after I graduated college, I met a man who was super sweet and super wonderful. It was a long-distance relationship, but somehow I was a teacher, so I had breaks every 2 months. I'd have a month off, so I'd go home and I would see him, and then he would travel for work, and so I would see him almost every weekend. We would get together, and it was awesome. We played sports, we would go out, we would go to plays, we'd go to movies, we'd do all kinds of fun stuff all the time, every weekend. And during the week, we would chat every night online for hours, and it just seemed like we were perfect. We were super happy, and things were super wonderful. And then I moved home. I ended up moving back to San Diego, where my family is, and so we would spend every day together. And all of a sudden, it got really smothering, and I had friends here, and I wanted to hang out with my friends, and he had friends, but for some reason, he only wanted to hang out with his friends if I was with him, and he didn't want me to hang out with my friends without him, and he wanted me to just watch History Channel and Sci-Fi Channel, which I hate, both of them, no offense if you're into that stuff, but I'm just not, and so I just ended up resenting him. But then we had been so happy before that I thought we could be happy again. And he told me I was so selfish because I wanted to go out without him, and I wouldn't go out with his friends. And I kept telling him, like, go out with your friends, like, go hang out with them. And he never wanted to. And it just got really bad after a while. We almost couldn't stand each other by the end of our relationship. And the sad thing was, because he had told me how selfish I was, I tried really, really hard to not be selfish for him. And that relationship just left me really confused, because here I found a man who I thought I was going to marry, who I was so in love with, who I just thought was so wonderful, and then I fast forward a year and a half, and I couldn't stand him. So that really scarred me, I was like, well, I can't trust my heart, because here I thought I could trust my heart and choose a man who I thought would be really good to me, and we just ended up not even being able to, like, stand being around each other. I mean, he was never bad to me, he was never abusive, he never did anything super hurtful, but it just made me question everything about me, and I lost a lot of my confidence. And so when I dated after that, I dated a few guys, and it was just, I was kind of settling for these guys who they weren't interested in relationships. And I think because I was scared to be in a relationship, that I thought that was okay, And then I just gave up on dating altogether because of those experiences. And I didn't date for a long time. And then I just decided to hang out with my best friend because I was super comfortable with him. We had a great time together. And I could use him as a distraction because there were some other things going on in my life at the time that I didn't want to deal with. And it was just so much easier to pour my whole heart and soul into my friend and try to make him happy and try to solve his problems and help him than to focus on myself and how miserable I was. And it took me a long time to realize that because I went to a really, really dark place, and not entirely because of my relationships. Like I said, there's a lot going on. If you watch the video about how I grew up, and my grandparents, who basically raised me, were getting really old and needing to get taken care of, and so I was taking care of them, and just a lot of stuff that I just didn't want to deal with at that time. I was able to kind of push back down inside of me and just throw my whole self into this friend of mine who was in a very dark place himself. And I think a part of me thought if I could just help him and, quote unquote, save him, then I would feel worthy and I would feel good and I would feel better about myself and not have to deal with the things that I was going through. So, it got pretty bad. I ended up my whole life was basically revolving around this guy, this friend of mine. And so all of my volunteering was through his stuff. All of our friends were mutual friends. My job I got through him. And he wasn't always nice to me. Not that, he never beat me or anything. But he wasn't always the nicest to me. And I just dealt with it. I just believed anything that he would tell me because I already felt so bad about myself that if he got angry with me or upset with me or whatever, I just thought I deserved it. Oh boy. So it was a really dark time in my life, and just with so many things going on, I got to a really, probably the darkest place in my life, and this was back in about 2008, I would say, 2008-ish. Just a really bad time in my life. But the thing about being in a really, really dark time is that you start to seek the light. And you start to figure out a way out of it. And hopefully, there's two choices. You can either just give up, or you can decide, no, I'm not going to give up. I am going to fight this. I know there's a better way. I know there's got to be a way to be happy. And I knew that there was because I had been happy most of my life. So I knew that it was possible for me. I just didn't at the time know how the hell to get out of where I was because I wasn't wanting to face my actual reality. So if you're in a place where you're just in total darkness, I would say that there's hope and that it is possible for you to be happy and it is possible for you to live in joy and to wake up excited every single day, even if you don't think that there's any possibility right now. So I just want to let you know that. Just keep going. That's all you can really do. And when things are really bad, they can probably only get better. So, just a couple things to keep in mind if you're in that dark place where I was back then, trying to figure out what the hell I was going to do because I was so miserable and I felt so worthless and I felt that my life did not matter and that I wasn't doing any good to anybody. And there's just no point in me being alive, really, is how I felt. And so the first thing, is you got to get really clear on what you do want as opposed to what you don't want. And there's a lot of ways to do this, and it's hard when you're in that place, because you can't, like, either you dream so big that it seems impossible what you want, or that you just think that it's just not going to get better no matter what you do. But it will. I'm here to let you know that, so if you're watching this, it will get better, I promise. It's going to take some work, though, on your part. It's going to take you deciding that you want something different. And for me, I started doing all kinds of self-help stuff and meditation, and I had to get away from my friend. Not completely, I'm still friends with the person, and it's great. Like, our relationship is wonderful now, but I don't rely on him for any of my happiness. I'm happy around him, and he's grown a lot as well, but I don't rely on him for anything. I rely on myself for my own happiness, and there's a lot of tools and there's a lot of ways, and I can help you if you want. I would love to help you, but even if it's not me, then there are other ways, and there are other people that can help you. So I just want to let you know that you don't have to settle for a relationship with somebody that doesn't make you happy. If you've gotten to a point where you're not happy, you either need to be very clear with the person, you need to communicate, because a lot of challenges in relationships come from unclear communication. You're not telling the person what you need very specifically, especially if you're a woman telling a man. Men need to be told very specifically how to make you happy, because women a lot of times think that the men should be like other women, because women are very intuitive and they can pick up on feelings and they can just intuitively know what a man needs, and men aren't like that. They don't understand usually. They'll try to intuitively know, but they don't, and women expect them to, and that's another reason that they're unhappy, because they're waiting for the man to just intuitively know how to help them. So if you're deciding to stay in this relationship, you need to be very clear about your needs, and you have to know that you are valuable and you are worth being treated very well, and you need to communicate that with the man that you're with, and then let him decide if he's willing to be that for you or not. And if he's not, you need to be willing to leave. And it might be tough. Maybe you have kids with this person. Maybe you can't just totally walk out on him, but you need to at least take the steps in the right direction. If you need to leave, then you need to make steps and maybe get a job that can support you and your kids, or whatever it is you need to do. But don't stay stuck anywhere. You don't need to stay stuck in a situation where you're unhappy. You need to follow your joy. Let your joy guide you. It won't lead you astray. So, yeah. I would love to see you in our Rich Girls Inc. Facebook group, and I'll put a link below this video. And please let me know if there's any way I can help you, if you have any questions, if you have any comments about my video. I'd love to help you, and I will see you in the next video.